Okay, so welcome everyone to session 2 of the small print of the law of attraction. And as we get started today, a couple of things we'll begin with: keyword and maybe a reminder of the city where you're calling from. And from there, we'll have a couple of announcements. I'm Michael. I'm checking in with gratitude and inspiration, and I'm in Austin, Texas today.
I'm Sarah. I am checking in with fullness and gratitude, and I'm calling from San Miguel de Allende.
All right. Forgot that's where you guys were. Yeah. Good to see you, Sarah.
Yes.
Daniel, also known as Chacaruna, Bridgeman, calling from the lovely state of Guanajuato, San Miguel, Costa Rica. Really happy to be here with you. I'm expanding. With this, I'm in.
Expanding is good. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm calling from Plymouth, Michigan, and I'm into playfulness and happiness.
I'm Amanda. I'm calling in from Denver, and the truth is I feel dissonant and exhausted today.
Thank you, Amanda.
Am
I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Janet. I listened to the first call on replay, and I'm calling in from Las Vegas. I just jumped out of the pool, and I'm single parenting today, so I might get an interruption or two. But I wrote down playful as well, Anna. So
beautiful.
Thank you, Janet.
I'm Kim, and I'm in Austin, Texas, and I am also a little tired today.
Thank you for being here, Kim. Shirley, how are you?
I'm Shirley, and I'm calling in from Portugal, and I am receiving.
Nice.
Maha, you want to check in?
Sure. I'm in Austin, Texas. I'm Maha, and I feel compassion. I feel great compassion today, and gratitude to experience more compassion.
Thank you, Maha. And before we jump into our coursework today, just a quick announcement on the topic of, let me go ahead and share my screen here. A quick note on the topic of our course. I did send out a note, or Maha and I did send out a note this past Wednesday with the reminder of how we're editing the videos for the courses. Just a couple of quick updates. One of which you may not have seen is that there is a function on the course that can support you both in class and out of class that would give you the ability to journal as you go through the course. And so the example of that is right here on the upper right-hand corner of the page. And when you press that, basically it brings up a little browser window where you can take notes on the course, insights, questions. That way, as you go through it, you've got one place to consolidate your notes. The other announcement is within the course schedule, within our course page. Of course, we've got our calendar here, which has our details for the meetings. Starting next month, we will have a Q&A session on the second Thursday of the month. So as we get into the August schedule, we'll certainly remind you about that. So that's the two updates that I had. And with that, Maha, back to you.
Perfect. And the Q&A, if you cannot attend, you may also email one of us your question and we'll cover it. Okay. So with no further ado, does anyone have a question on what happened last week, on what you may have reviewed, what you may have viewed? Any question? Okay. Perfection. Then let's jump in. And there it is. Okay. So, as a reminder, we have a page like this one where we create alignments, where we get things clearer to offer a foundation for the next page, which will be experiential. So if someone would volunteer to read that, and also to give me the permission to interrupt you as you read, so that we would all be on the same page. So would anyone like to read? And just as background, we spoke of resisting the Bible. We're looking at different aspects of resistance. And resisting the Bible is understandable, considering the religious abuse that we all have gone through. By the same token, there's a wealth in this text that we could also harvest. So that's what we saw when we looked at the 6 days of creation of glamour, which glamour can also be understood as Maya or illusion. And the 6 days of that. So now we're going to look at resisting even as Hebrew. Resisting Hebrew even when known as Hebrew. So, a volunteer?
I can read.
Thank you, Anna.
And you can interrupt me whenever you want to.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you.
Resisted even as Hebrew. This subject matter triggers a whole lot of resistance, which comes first, Hebrew or Judaism. And yet this proclamation starts in thanking the Jewish people for their unflinching courage in the face of the pain they had to endure to ensure that the gift of the Holy Torah and of its Hebrew alphabet would remain uncompromised. It is also made to free Hebrew to fulfill its mandate, to trans a universal path to peace.
Yeah, so let's just stop here for a second. Of all the symbolic languages, and I'm speaking of alphabet because Chinese also has not changed form. But of all the symbolic languages that have an alphabet, Hebrew is the one language that never changed form. And I were born in Greece, and you know that there is ancient Greek and modern Greek. And in the passage from one form to the next, there were some Greek letters that got lost. It's a mystery how Hebrew remained in compromise. And it is one of the reasons why we tend to think that it is an extraterrestrial transmission. And so will we have the courage to bring it out of Judaism and let it be a blessing to humanity? That's the question. Does that resonate with you, Anna?
Yes.
Okay. So, and of course, if you have any question, ask them. And if you would, please continue.
Well, one remark that I'd like to make is about the word that you highlighted earlier, uncompromised, because I feel that often people, even though they may look at something, if it has been compromised, then they don't get the full truth, and they will get away from it with one way or another, or they will understand that it's not the truth, and that will reflect. So keyword uncompromised, people would know the truth and would be attracted to it.
Beautiful. Love that, Anna. Thank you.
Yes. So SAM languages, such as mathematics or music, are neutral and deemed to be comprehensive. No clan can make a claim as to their ownership. Optimally, any discipline serving a vast ecumenical, did I say that right?
I believe so, yes.
Ecumenical endeavor belongs to no gender, no race, no nation, no tradition, no organization, but only to the life itself. While, do you want to interrupt me?
No, please continue.
Yeah. While languages keep on evolving, Hebrew seems to be the only symbolic alphabet that never changed form. This everlastingness may suggest that there is a cosmic plan at the root of evolution. It is this plan that compels us to come out of nothingness. It is the same plan that has always aimed at orienting each sentient being towards the embodiment of wisdom. It was meant to show up at the perfect time to meet humanity's sincere prayer to transition from greed into grace and thereby heal our relationship to power.
So let's stop here. It was meant to show up at the perfect time to meet humanity's sincere prayer to transition from greed into grace and thereby heal our relationship to power. How does that touch you? And if so, how?
It seems like it's the next step. Like the transition.
Yeah.
It seems like it's like after experiencing the greed, then asking the question, what's more after that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the time has come, and this may be how it's showing up now. Because we all need it, and the earth needs it too.
Yes.
Beauty.
To this end, this language renamed itself Shebrew, as it is when Hebrew goes global, ecological, and unisex, as the words and worlds of the sacred realm.
Yep. Any comment or question?
So the S before the Hebrew, most people are familiar with Hebrew, but not Shebrew.
Yes.
And that goes to unisex and balancing both masculine and feminine.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like the sacred feminine has been dismissed, and it seems to not be present in a tradition that seems to be translated mainly as a he god when it's actually not at all. the case once the Torah is decoded, but it's making the path of the feminine, the sacred feminine. It reinstates it, and at the same time offering a balancing, because whether men or women, we all are suffering from the loss of the sacred feminine.
Yes.
So it's an important recovery.
And I wanted to make a comment, Maha, also.
Sure.
You know, having grown up in a conservative Christian background, you know, every year at some point, the pastor would, in a sermon, mention the term Hebrew, but that's about it. So there was not
Wow.
really a direct relationship to what Hebrew is or might be, other than the language of the Jews. And there was very little understanding of that in a traditional Christian background and upbringing. And what touches me about this page is, A, it is quite sensitive. I mean, if we look at the religious wars and even what's happening today, there's a lot that's happening on the planet that appears to be occurring at the level of different sect of different religions, whether it be Islam versus Judaism, Christians versus whatever. The religious wars are everywhere. And this announcement that there could be a language that's neutral, and to have it perceived in such a way that it transcends those form of barriers, is a beautiful calling. And so certainly bringing in the feminine is part of that. And we endeavor to give more to that story as this course progresses.
Yeah. On that note, the mysticism of Judaism is called Kabbalah. And Kabbalah means receiving. There's a big difference between being given the Torah and actually receiving it. So it would be so wonderful that this receiving could enable us to transcend even the idea of religion and to live authentically, because the word would be in here and not out there. The scriptures would be internalized as true teaching. So that's the goal we serve, individually and collectively in our community.
So we want to move to the next page, Maha.
Yeah, I'm doing just that. I first need to go there. Oops. There.
Sorry, can I ask? This might sound dumb.
Please.
Where did the S come from? Like
Where?
to add to it.
Where the what comes from?
So when it's being transformed into Hebrew, like I do love that there's a slash because it still includes the old word, but where, like if it's mathematical, right? And like Abram and Sarai, like she transferred her H to him when they were, where did the S in the Hebrew come from?
It was just inspired, just like the rest of the path. You know, at the beginning of being commissioned to do this work by my heart, I resisted, obviously, speaking of resistance, too big, too much. And I thought, and I distinctively thought, and I'm not even a rabbi, why don't you give this work to a rabbi? And the answer came so clearly, telling me this was not the work of a rabbi. This is the work of an artist, someone that can go beyond borders. But also, the Kabbalah has been written about by men and about men. So it's time for this change to come forth. And that's when Hebrew manifested herself.
Okay, that's great.